Hi guys, it's Beth with Bourbon Creek Crafts. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm very excited to be part of the blog hop with Scrapping for Less for the January Flavor of the Month kit. So each kit contains 4 different collections, and the theme of this whole kit is called It's All About the Boys. So it's a kind of, all the collections have a kind of a masculine, rustic feel. But the kit, the Double Dip Sunday kit, comes with the 4 collections. Each collection contains an envelope, an A2 size envelope, 6 6x6 patterned papers, a stamp set, and then usually some small embellishments as well. And then it also comes with 8 pieces of cardstock, and they're all like nice quality heavy duty cardstock. So the collections in this particular kit are, the collection number 1 is called Gnome What, and it's designed by Scrapping for Less, and it's got some kind of tan enamel dots, some twine, a Scrapping for Less stamp set called Gnome What, and I love the gnomes. Have fun playing with that one. And then the 6 pattern papers are double-sided, and you can kind of see the patterns on the back as well. Collection number 2 is called Buffaloed, and if you've watched my channel for a while, you know I'm in heaven between, I just talked about in one of my videos the other day, between the gnomes and the buffalo plaid. Like, totally my thing. I'm gonna have a whole lot of fun with this kit. So here are the patterns on this side, and then there's a collection of kind of solids and some more plaid on the back of these. And these papers are designed by Scrapping for Less as well. We have a Scrapping for Less stamp set called Roam Free with the buffalo. And then this collection also has some tree stickers by Sticko, and then a little cardstock paper flag. Collection number 3 is called Birthday King, also designed by Scrapping for Less. Comes with some black glitter enamel dots, Scrapping for Less stamp set called Royal Birthday King, a sheet of gold glitter paper, and then the 6 pattern papers in this collection have like this pretty royal blue and then kind of a gold glittery pattern to them. And then collection number 4 is called Tool Time, and it's got a Sunny Studio stamp set called Tool Time. There's some yellow enamel dots, some cork label stickers, and then these papers are like, there's some plaid and like some tool themed patterns. There's some cut aparts on the back of one. So very fun. My husband and my dad are handymen, so those are some fun patterns for them. So that was the Double Dip Sunday level. You can kind of pay a little bit extra for some add-ons for the banana split level, and that includes some Scrapping for Less sequins, and then this is Tim Holtz Distress Ink Cube in Gathered Twigs. And then the banana split level also includes a gnome die, which will coordinate with the stamp right here, and a crown stencil. I haven't received those yet. Those came in late, and so those are on their way to me now. But so those are the 2 levels of the kit, and then all the different collections. So I am excited to be able to play with these and hang out with me while we make some fun cards. So along with the kit, you can download a sheet of card sketches that they give you as examples to use for your card kits. And so I am using the freshly made sketch number 14, which is their sketch number 1 from the Flavor of the Month. And I am using collection number 4, Tool Time, and decided to utilize some of the cut aparts that are on the one side of my papers.
And so I am not as good as Christy Marcotte. I know she figures out all of the sketch measurements before she starts. I usually tend to wing it because I'm using whatever size scraps I happen to have left. So kind of with this card, you can kind of see me having to work to figure out how big I want to make all of my pieces parts, but it all works out. And winging it is kind of how I roll most of the time. I decide to double mat my little squares cut apart there, just to help it pop out a little bit more. And then I had colored up, before I started, I had colored up a bunch of the stamps. I had stamped, colored, and fussy cut a bunch of things out just so it would make it easier to use during my card making. And I decided to pull in one of those little saws that I had colored up. And this is from the Tool Time stamp set from Sunny Studios. So now I've got everything together. I'm going to apply my panel to my card base. And then once I get my cut apart applied, I'm trying to figure out how I want to finish embellishing the card. I like those enamel dots, so I would like to pull them in somewhere. And I want to use that little saw down there on the corner. And I want it to kind of hang over the edge of that corner, so I did add a little bit of foam tape on either end of the saw, like both the edge of the saw and then the handle, just so that it doesn't kind of droop there where it hangs over. And then I do decide to use 2 of the yellow enamel dots up at the top just to kind of balance out. And there's card number 1. Fun birthday card for handyman in my life. So for card number 2, I'm using another one of their sketches. It's the Queen and Company sketch. And this time I am using collection number 1, the Gnome What collection. And I loved the gnomes. They were fun to color. I love gnomes anyway, so these were really fun to play with. So I was originally going to go with a craft card mat for my card base, and then decided, and I was going to work in that kind of sunburst pattern there. But then I decided to make the sunburst pattern the mat for my card, and then kind of use the craft as a matting element. So since I kind of have a bold pattern for the card mat, I'm bringing in more of a solid to be that panel there in the middle, and that's where I'll put my gnomes on. And for the gnomes, I just kind of tried to pull in some of the different colors that were in that paper collection when I colored them up. And then I also decided to use kind of more of a solid-ish, that green strip down there at the bottom. So also from that Gnome What stamp set from Scrapping for Less, I am pulling the Gnome What, You Are Awesome sentiments, and I'm going to add those at the bottom of my card. And I decide that I want to back my little circle that I'm going to stamp the Gnome What onto with another piece of pattern paper. And then I also decided to ink everything up just so that everything stands out from each other. And I am using the ink cube, the distressed ink cube that came in my kit. And I also wanted to ink just because it helps everything kind of stand apart from each other, but also kind of go together better, like because they all have the same type of edging. So since I haven't used these stamps before, I am stamping them off on the back of my little matte piece there just to make sure that it's going to stamp well for me on my sentiment strip. And so now I'll stamp that gnome what phrase on my little circle. And then I can start building my card. And then in this particular case, I decided I want to level out my rectangle there in the middle, just so it's not like lumpy at the bottom where it's overlapping that strip. So I do add another piece of cardstock on the back of there just to kind of help even it out. It's not to add dimension per se, it's just to kind of help even it out. And then I can add my fun little gnomes, my favorite part of the card. So I'll fishtail that little sentiment strip there, kind of following the sketch. And ink it up as well. And then I decide that I want to add another strip of little cardstock behind my circle sentiment as well. So after I get my card panel on the front, you'll see me add like another little piece to the end of my sentiment. Sometimes it bothers me and sometimes it doesn't. So in this particular case, I did a lot of trying to level out my pieces. So and there is card number 2. Gnome what? You are awesome. Card number 3, I am sticking with that same collection, the Gnome What collection of the paper. And I'm trying to create a simple scene here using the blue and the green. I'm just going to kind of create a prairie scene and make a little rolling hill with the grass with the green pattern, and then the blue pattern is obviously my sky. And then there's a buffalo that I pre-colored and fussy cut out. And then I also want to utilize one of the tree stickers that came in the collection. And then for my sentiment, I decided to use another stamp from the buffalo set, and it's Have a Wild Birthday. So now that I have my sky and hills, and trim up my overhang there, I want to add my buffalo more in the forefront, and then I want the tree to be kind of more in the distance. And then I decide that it needs a little bit something else, and so I decide to use a little bit of that yellow cardstock as a sun. And I'm just trying to figure out where to put it. I don't want the whole thing showing, I just wanted a little bit of pop of color. So I'm going to kind of add my sun up there in the top corner. And then because I fussy cut out the buffalo, and my head's in the way there, because I fussy cut out the buffalo, I did not save the tail because it was so thin, and so I just drew in a little tail for him directly on my card. And I'm going to pull out my Misty just because I'm stamping on the front of the card. I want to make sure I get a good clean stamp. And it's kind of like a glossy paper, the paper has a little bit of a glossy feel to it, so I also wanted to make sure it was going to stamp well. And there's card number 3. Have a wild birthday. So card number 4, I'm using the paper from the Buffaloed collection, which is collection number 2. And I'm using that gnome stamp again from collection number 1. And then I decided to pull in a Sweet Sunday sketch from my stash. I originally was just going to leave the white background, like the white card base, as kind of like the background, and then matte with the black cardstock, but then changed my mind and went with the black card matte and then matting my pieces with the white. And I like how that pops. So with this particular card, I love Buffalo Check and I love gnomes, so this was a really fun card for me to build. So I'm using that Gnome What sentiment again from the Gnome What stamp set. And I'm going to use that. That's going to be the little fishtail banner that goes at the top right corner of my card. So once I get that here down, I can add my panel to my card base. And then I'm bringing in another stamp set from my stash just because I wanted a happy birthday sentiment on the inside. So I'm pulling out my Misty again just to make sure I get a good stamp on the inside of my card. So it says, wishing you a one-of-a-kind birthday on the inside. So Gnome What? Wishing you a one-of-a-kind birthday. And then I decided I wanted to add another final touch, and so I'm using some of the black glitter enamel dots that actually came in the Birthday King collection. And speaking of the Birthday King collection, for my next card, I am utilizing the paper from the Birthday King collection, which is collection number 3, and I'm going back to that Queen and Company sketch that they provided. Again, I'm trying to figure out, the measure, what size I want to make all the different pieces. And I decided to use that more of a gold strip with the blue accents in it as my strip at the bottom. I did heat emboss 2 of the stamps from the stamp set with this collection, and so I did the crown and then the phrase King for a Day. And I used some Recollections sparkle embossing powder in gold when I heat embossed it. These colors in this paper does have a very royal feel. So I'll add my panel here to the card front. And then I pulled in a strip of that gold glitter cardstock. And that's going to be like the little fishtail banner element. And by the way, that gold glitter paper is self-adhesive, like there's a backing on it. I thought there should be, and I had tried to get it off in this particular case, and then it wouldn't come, so I just assumed I ended up adding some adhesive, but then later on I found a scrap that I ended up adding to this card, and you'll see that at the end, and discovered that it really was self-adhesive, so I didn't need the tape. But now you know that the glitter paper does have a backing to peel off, so it's self-adhesive. And there is my King for a Day card. So for my last card, card number 6, I pulled in an Operation Ride Home sketch. And I'm going back to the Buffaloed collection, which is collection number 2. And I'm using the buffalo stamp with the buffalo check this time. So I'm trying to figure out what size to make my matte element here, because not only do I want to include the buffalo, I'm going to include a sentiment stamp on there as well. And so the phrase I'm using from that stamp set is "Don't get buffaloed." So once that's finished, I can add my buffalo and then draw in his tail once he's dry. And then we'll add my little panels to my card mat. Now that my buffalo is complete, I can add him to my card. And then I decided I wanted to bring in some of those tan enamel dots as well, just because on the card sketch there was a larger circle element up in that corner. So instead of one circle, I just added 3 of the enamel dots, in each of the 3 sizes. I went from largest to smallest, kind of tapering down. So for the inside, I'm going to use another sentiment from that stamp set. So pulled out my Misty again, and this time the inside message, which I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it, says "Stand your ground." So this is just kind of an encouragement type card, like don't get buffaloed, stand your ground, be strong, kind of thing.
So here are the 6 cards that I made today using the January Flavor of the Month kit. It's all about the boys. If I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be this one because it combines 2 of my most favorite things right now, gnomes and plaid. So I will have some close-ups, some better pictures of these at the end of the video. But I also wanted to show you I made these 6 cards and I still have a lot of goodies left. So 1 full sheet of cardstock plus most of another one. Have some plaid collection left. And then the little tool time collection. And I do save these scraps because if you follow me, you'll realize that I use these. I try to use everything, and these are perfect to go on the inside of your card if nothing else. So I do tend to save those scraps. And then here are the blue and gold papers. And then the embellishments that I have left, the tree stickers, the cork labels, and then the embellishments there, the little dots in sequence. And then of course I still have forever to use the stamp sets and the distress ink. And then I have a few images colored up that I had already colored up and didn't get a chance to use today. So if you would like to see a part 2 of this kit where I use up the rest of the kit, let me know that in the description box below and I will work on finishing this kit up. It was so much fun playing with this kit. I've loved the flavor of the month kits just because it gives me an opportunity to try some new things that I may not, normally try. So this was a lot of fun. I loved this kit. Thank you, Scrapping for Less, for giving me the chance to be a guest designer this month and to play with all the goodies. If you are following along on the blog hop, or if you just if you're one of my subscribers and found my video first, please be sure to check in the description box for the link to the next person in line in the blog hop and see what they have made with this kit as well. And thank you guys so much for your time today. I hope you guys got some good ideas on how to use your kit, and I hope you're having a crafty day.